Imagine being trapped in one of the coldest, most unforgiving places on Earth. A plane has crashed in the Andes, 45 people on board, and as days pass, the struggle to survive becomes unimaginable. This is the true story of Flight 571. In October 1972, a Uruguayan Air Force plane carrying 45 people, including a rugby team, their friends and family, took off, expecting a short and safe flight over the Andes Mountains. What awaited them, however, was a story so shocking it would go down in history as one of the most brutal survival tales ever told. As the aircraft crossed the towering Andes, weather conditions grew worse. Clouds surrounded the plane, turbulence shook the cabin, and the pilots struggled to navigate through the snow-covered peaks. Then, in a matter of seconds, tragedy struck. The plane clipped the mountainside and broke apart, scattering wreckage across the ice and snow. Several passengers were killed instantly, but dozens survived the crash, injured, freezing, and in complete disbelief. They thought rescue would arrive within hours. They were wrong. The freezing temperatures made every breath painful. At night, the survivors huddled together inside the broken fuselage, using each other's body heat to stay alive. Days turned into weeks, and food ran out quickly. They ate chocolate bars, wine, anything they could find in the wreckage. But starvation soon forced them to face a nightmare choice. In order to survive, they would have to consume the bodies of those who had already died. It was a decision filled with guilt, horror, and tears, but it kept them alive. As if starvation wasn't enough, avalanches struck, burying the wreckage in snow and killing more survivors. The mountain was merciless. Yet through all of this, a small group never gave up hope. After 72 days stranded in the Andes, two young men, Nando Parrado and Roberto Canessa, made an impossible choice. They would climb out of the mountains on foot, with no map, no gear, and almost no food. For 10 days, they walked through the deadly peaks, frostbitten and starving, until finally they encountered a Chilean shepherd. This shepherd carried news of the survivors to the outside world, and soon helicopters flew deep into the Andes and rescued the last of them. Out of 45 people, only 16 returned home. The others remained forever in the mountains. Flight 571 is more than a plane crash. It is a chilling reminder of human fragility, but also a powerful story of courage, desperation, and the will to live when everything is lost. But the story of Flight 571 is not only about survival, it is about human limits being pushed beyond imagination. These were ordinary young men, students, athletes, brothers, and sons, suddenly forced into a nightmare that tested every part of their humanity. Each day in the Andes felt like a year. They watched their friends die one by one, yet they had to keep fighting. They built makeshift sunglasses out of plastic to protect their eyes from snow blindness. They melted ice to drink water. Every small victory meant one more day alive. And while the world searched in the wrong places, their families were told the plane had disappeared forever. Weeks later, the search was officially called off. No one believed anyone could survive that long in the Andes, but they did. When Nando Parrado and Roberto Canessa finally returned with rescuers, the world was shocked. Newspapers called it the miracle of the Andes. But for the survivors, it was no miracle. It was pain, sacrifice, and decisions that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. Even today, decades later, Flight 571 is remembered not only as a crash, but as a symbol of resilience, of courage, and of the unbreakable will to live against all odds. The survivors of Flight 571 carried scars that no one else could truly understand. When they finally returned home, they were greeted as heroes by some and judged harshly by others. Many could not accept the choices they had been forced to make in the mountains, but those who lived through it knew the truth. Survival is never simple, and it comes with a price. For years, the survivors struggled with nightmares, with the weight of what they had seen and done. Yet they also carried something powerful, a bond that no tragedy could ever break. Together they had faced death, and together they had chosen life. Today, when people speak of Flight 571, they don't just speak of a crash, they speak of the strength of the human spirit, of resilience in the face of impossible odds. and of a story that continues to inspire the world. Because in the end, Flight 571 was not just about death in the Andes. It was about life, fragile, precious, and worth fighting for.